Hello teacups, what's brewing? As you can see, new background, or rather it's the same room but we've just turned things around. My kitchen refit, the house kitchen refit that's going on is beginning to escalate and the corner of the kitchen I usually use when I finish work and I've got stuff to do on the computer is no longer going to be available to me. So my dad was very kind. I came back from work today because we have an office, but I like to have a change of scene once I get out of the school stuff. And I went up to the third floor, which is where I usually film, and he'd set up like a work table. He put a little extension in so I'd have somewhere proper to sit. I've got like an actual comfortable office chair instead of the antique nursing chair, which I probably shouldn't have been sitting in because it's an antique. And just a really nice setup. So it's in front of the window. We've got lots of natural light, which is lovely. I'm actually having a little bit trouble seeing the screen, unfortunately, so hopefully this is all framed. But really nice of him to do. He just gave me a little work area, and it means I can use my tripod instead of the kind of gooseneck hangy thing that was really shaky. I'm hoping that'll help. I tried to film this as a sort of chatty get ready with me. With the Roaring 20s Reckless palette, which is the new palette I bought for absolutely no reason other than the fact that it looked pretty. I like it. This is the look. I ended up re-recording the video telling you the things I wanted to tell you though, because it was really hard to talk about other things while doing makeup. I'm great at talking about the makeup while I'm doing it, but I tend to get sidetracked on my thought while I'm focusing on what I'm doing. So, back to this. You may have noticed, you may not have cared, that I didn't react very much this week. And even though Chantel was online a lot, oh my goodness, she was online a lot. I am struggling with her on a few different levels right now. One, ever since, just really, I was going to say the pizza live, but man, will I have to be more specific. Ever since the live when she went to her doctor's and she stopped at Wendy's and had pizza in the car, I've really just had a flip with her and I've just been completely done. I've been like, nah. Because there was something about her sitting there going, my A1C wasn't as bad as expected, and therefore I can eat pizza and Wendy's, I'm good. And I know she didn't outright say that, but her actions very much implied it. I didn't enjoy it. I found myself getting quite angry, which is an inappropriate response to, as much as I am engaged with her as a viewer, you know, it's an inappropriate response to anyone on the internet, really, to get that emotionally fraught with her. And I was like, okay, no, let's take a step. I obviously need a minute. And I am frustrated with her in many ways because I feel like any one of the major health issues she's had recently should be a wake-up call, and it hasn't been. And yes, that's her life to live and her life to lose ultimately, but you engage with creators as viewers and you do get to, you know, you get to know them for better or for worse, and I know a lot of people in her audience don't care about her, but I care that she may seriously harm herself. It makes me feel bad and it makes me feel very sad for her, and she doesn't seem to care. I seem to care more about that than she does, on the surface at least. And I know we get moments when she does seem to care, but right then she didn't seem to, and I needed a bit of a break. Part of that could just be she's had so many lives recently because they're easier to do as a creator. We've had so many hours of her to filter through that maybe it's just overwhelmed me a little bit, and I'm just like, nah. This is too much, no. And, you know, to an extent, I'd say she's just straight trolling us in a lot of ways. But, and this is the more sad element of it, I think she trolls herself more than she trolls any of us, because she does convince herself, well, I've dodged that bullet, even when it's still ongoing. So saying my A1C wasn't bad, but her doctor still wants her sugars under control. She's still on Ozempic, which is, from all accounts, a very expensive diabetic injection that, you know, she apparently, I do not work in the Canadian healthcare system, but apparently is not the first drug people choose when it comes to these kinds of problems. They try you on other things first if they think they're going to work. So the fact that she went to Ozempic is maybe telling a story that she hasn't been entirely honest with on her channel. I don't know that for sure, but it would seem to imply it. And just the amount of medications. Later on in her life, she was showing all her medications, despite the fact she was like, I don't want to share my health on this channel again. She's in a bad way, even if this one reading didn't turn out as badly as she thought. And I was done with that for a little bit. And now, having had a bit of breathing room, I feel a little bit better about it. She did post today that, you know, it's time, the usual stuff. It's time, I've got to take this seriously. I hope she does. I hope she does. But I would like to see evidence of it before I get my hopes up too high, before I get too excited about it, before I jump in and support her. I'd support her getting healthy at all times. But in terms of getting excited about it, I'm not sure I'm there just yet. I think it's a good step if she actually takes it, but talking about it and taking it is not the same thing. Taking it and then taking another one is not the same thing. I want to see her get to a week. I have been saying that for a year now. We still haven't seen it. I want to see her get to a week and we'll see where she is. But right now, she's about 5 pizzas into a 2-week stretch. So, you know, what I'm hoping actually that the new day, new me will do is for us to see more pre-recorded videos. She's promised us a few that haven't materialized. The Time Warp is a series I'm usually very excited about. I'm not massively excited about the Twin Peaks because I never watched the show. It's not going to mean much to me, but it does usually mean a pre-recorded video with a little bit more effort put in, so that would be nice. She promised us a haul at some point that never materialized, and I do like her hauls, so that would be nice, and it would be easier to manage than her hours and hours of lives are. And probably it would offend less people because generally, a very general sense, she tends to be less offensive in her pre-recorded. I say general sense, she's had some doozies, but the shorter amount of time a camera is on her, the more she's able to edit, the more she's able to control the narrative that she puts out there. And you would think to an extent would say, hey, that's not a good idea. Now, obviously her McDonald's breakfast pre-recorded video was a choice. There's been some choices made with her pre-recorded videos, but she has some content that I enjoy and would like to see more of, and is easier to manage as a reactor. So that's where we are with her. We'll see what happens. I'm just having to take a step back from breaking down all the lives. It's too many hours. We have got super busy at work just recently as well. There is a rumor going around that school might be closed from Ramadan. It may be that the Saudi Educational Ministry decides that the schools don't go back after Ramadan. Ramadan holiday for us starts end of April. If that's the case, I will have a lot more time. I can look into doing her lives again, and just having more time to balance this with other elements of my life, because that will be something that's taken away. That is actually the reason I started the channel in the first place, because we were going into lockdown and I was going to have a lot of time in my hands. So I was like, yeah, why not do something? But right now I'm finding the workload of the uncertainty of that, because we're now essentially having to prepare 2 things. We're having to prepare a load of work for the following week based on if it happens, and work based on if it doesn't happen, because it entirely changes our schedules in terms of exams and reports. And I've got parent conferences. I've got to work next Saturday, which is part of my weekend, but we have to do it. We've got a lot of stuff coming up right now and I need a little bit more time for it. So I can't break down the lives as much as I would. I am a little bit interested as well in going back to Amber for a little while. And it might just be to have a little bit of a change, maybe. Amber has announced she's starting Jenny Craig again. This is her 4th attempt, but I think it's her new Weight Watchers. But it's the kind of content I enjoy. I enjoy seeing people try in that regard, in the different plans they use. I find that content interesting. We'll see how much she uploads. We'll see how long it lasts. It didn't last very long last time. But I may do some, I'm actually thinking of reacting to her Jenny Craig video after this. So we'll see if I end up doing that or not. I'd like to see that happen. So she does tend to straight up troll, and again, I had to stop watching her for a while there, so we'll see how she goes with it. Because again, when creators start turning around and blaming their audience for the stuff they're creating, I get a little bit annoyed as an audience member. So we'll see how bad that gets. But I'm thinking she has shorter videos, they're much easier to manage, and like I said, we'll see where Chantal goes with this latest rock bottom, but past behavior does not make me hopeful, but change is possible. We'll see how it goes. That's where I am with all of this. Sorry if you've been missing my reacts. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's going to be a bit iffy the next probably month or so until we know for sure what's going on, but I'm going to try and keep reacts out for you guys, but what form they take and how long they are and which videos they are, it may not be as regular as the uploads from the creators. So thank you very much, guys. I will talk to you soon, and I appreciate the support. Bye bye.